All right, here we go. So ladies and gentlemen, picking up where we left off yesterday, where we're going to be factoring polynomials, where we have leading coefficients other than 1. So let's begin. See what we remember. I don't know about you, but this morning I was like a little rusty. So here we go. So when we first do this, we want to check, do we have a GCF? No. So we can check with 3, right? And basically your factors for 3 are just like 1 times 3. That's it. And I can't divide 7 by 3 evenly, so no GCF. All right. So that means that A is going to be equal to 3. B is equal to, and C is equal to -5. Oh, yes, I can take that off. Okay. So again, I encourage your involvement because that does make this go by faster. Otherwise, I'll call on people and we'll wait. All right, so let's see. If I have A is equal to 3, B is equal to 7, and really important that we include the sign with it, -5, right? Anaya, can you share with me what number is going to go on the bottom here? 7, yes. B for the bottom, right? And this is here on the top I have, let's go with, Aaron, what number goes on the top, sir? And let me know if you need a hint. 3? Well, that's part of it. It's actually A times C. So that's 3 times -5, which of course is? Yay, okay. This is the number that we are multiplying for, and this is the number that we are adding to, right? So we can pull up all the factors in our calculator. And if it's on the top here, it's going to be on the top of my fraction right here, right? And I'm just going to go ahead. Let me just clear all this junk out. 7, 1, 2. Okay. And I'm going to go to y equals. Okay, not so much, huh? All right. We're going to type in alpha y equal 1 -15 over x. What do I have to do to get to the table? I would agree. And we are looking for 2 numbers that are going to add up to be 7, right? So -3 and 5. No, that's 2, right? -1 and 15. 15 minus 1, that's 14. This is -14. That's -2. Well, let me see. And if you got numbers like 15, you probably shouldn't even go past 15, right? So if I'm looking at this, I got 5 minus 3, that's 2. Fraction, 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 I can ignore all of those. Fraction, fraction, fraction. Oop, there's 1. 15 minus 1, that's 14. So it really doesn't appear that there is anything that will satisfy this, right? So since there are no numbers, no factors rather, of -15 that add up to 7, this is what we call, there you go, prime polynomial. Okay, just like a prime number can't be divided by anything other than itself, a prime polynomial cannot be rewritten as, you know, a factor of 2 smaller polynomials, right? So the answer is prime polynomial, okay? Doesn't mean that there's not a solution, just means that we cannot factor it. Any questions on that? Okay, let's go ahead and let's look at the next one. Example number 4. Okay. Any volunteers to read? I get tired of hearing my voice. No? All right, let me call on. Alexa, do you mind reading? Okay. And that's pronounced when, I believe.
Okay. Oh, okay. How do you pronounce it?
When? Okay. Correct me if I'm wrong, if anybody knows better. Okay.
Model rockets, Mr. Nguyen class built. Mr. Nguyen class built a model rocket. They launched their rocket outside. It cleared the top of a 60-foot high pole and then landed in a nearby tree. If the launch pad was 2 feet above the ground, the initial velocity of the rocket was 64 feet per second, and the rocket landed 30 feet above ground. How long was the rocket in flight? Use the equation.
Okay, so I'm really, really visual. One of the things I want to look at, that last question, like what are they looking for anyway? It says, how long was the rocket in flight? In my equation, what variable are we looking for? What do you think? H. What do you think H stands for? I agree. I think H is for the height, right? And so I think H is the height. What do you think H with the subset 0 is? That's the height when. Okay, well, let's think about that. So how long was the rocket in flight? Do you think that would be answered by H, the height? Does that describe how long it was in flight? No. What's another variable that might be what they're looking for? Okay. So when y'all say time, I like that. Okay, and that's probably represented with the variable of T, right? T for time. Okay, good. And what unit do you think it's going to be in? Yes. Why? Why do you think it's in seconds? The only mention of time here in this entire thing is right here, where it says 64 feet per second, right? So I would make the assumption that we are talking about time in the unit in seconds. Okay, and that's actually going to be what we're looking for. That's our unknown, right? Time in seconds. Okay, so like I said, I'm really, really visual. I got to like draw my little picture. Here's my 60-foot, right, pole. Here's my tree hitting right at 30 feet, right? So I'm going to draw like that. And then I had a little platform, right? And that was 2 feet tall. Okay, and then there's my little rocket. I don't know, something like that. Okay, looks kind of weird, but there we go. So there's the rocket. They launch it. It clears 60-foot tall pole, and then it lands in the tree at 30 feet. Okay. Now, did anybody come up with any fantastic ideas regarding H sub 0? What does that represent? The height when? What do you think the 0 is? Okay, when it's at the first. Good. Okay, 0 refers to at 0 seconds, right? So this is what we call our initial height. Okay, very nice. So good guesses though, okay, even if you didn't quite have it. So let's see. Oh, what about V? What do you think V is? Velocity. Yeah, I would go with that. V is for velocity, and that was actually some good given information, right? That's right here. Velocity of the rocket was 64 feet per second. And so in this case, we know that is 64 feet over second. Yes, something like that. Okay. Questions? All right. So let's go ahead and set up our equation. I'm going to go ahead and write it down here. So I've got H. What is the height that we're looking for? Let's say we got 2 feet above. That was where it launched, right? And then it lands at 30 feet. And they want to know how long was the rocket in flight. So all the way from here to right here, right? So 30 feet is what we want to replace H with, 30. We got -16. It's okay to leave T in there because that's what we're trying to figure out. We have a velocity of 64. Got the T. And then we had an initial height of 2. Any questions on how I set that up? All right. So before we solve any type of equation, okay, what must be true? Not only must it be in the standard quadratic form, but it also has to be set equal to 0, right? Okay. So let me talk to, let's see. Alexis, can you share with me, how am I going to set this equal to 0? How am I going to move 30?
I actually don't know.
Okay, let me rephrase it. What is the additive inverse of 30? What will make it equal to 0? You need a lifeline?
Multiply it by 0? I don't know.
Okay. Yes, you want to help them out? All right. Go ahead, Flynn. Sorry. Yay, subtract 30, right? That's our additive inverse, okay? That's okay. We don't all know everything, right? All at the same time. So here we have 0. We have negative 16t squared plus 64t. And then, of course, that's negative 28. So now I'm in a position where I can start solving because I've got to set equal to 0, right? Do I have a GCF? Let me pull out my smallest one, 16. I'm going to come up with all my factors, right? 1 times 16, 2 times 8, 3, no, 4 times 4. And we're going to work our way around, right? So can I divide everything by 16? Nope. Can I divide everything? Wait, so yeah, because if I do this, and I can always check right here, like I got negative 28, right? Divided by 16. That's like 1.75. That's no good. Let's do 8. 28 divided by 8. Ugh, nope, no good. Let's try 4. 28 divided by 4. 7. Okay, we got a winner. And then 64 divided by 4. Also a nice whole number. Okay, so, and to be honest, if I see a negative up front, I'm going to probably try to get rid of that, okay? So I'm going to divide by negative 4. Dividing by negative 4. So I'm actually kind of factoring this out. And if I do it over here, I can do it over here, right? And so that just becomes 0. Negative 16 divided by negative 4 is 4. And we have the t squared. Can y'all see it okay? Okay. And then we have 64 divided by negative 4. Negative 16t. And negative 28 divided by negative 4. Positive 7. Now we have much nicer, easier numbers to work with, right? Let's go ahead and identify our A, our B, and our C. Okay. So if I look at this, Aubrey, can you tell me what is A, B, and C? And if you need a hint, let me know.
I need a hint.
Okay. So standard form looks like this. I'm going to see if I can squeeze it in. AX is usually X, but you'll get the idea. AX squared plus BX plus C. So obviously we're using T, right? Instead of X. And so what value is in front of the T squared? And that's 4, right? So what do you think B is?
Negative 16.
And I like that you included the negative. And then C is? Yes, ma'am. Okay, so those are our values. Now, because A is equal to 4, how many boxes am I going to need? 1 or 2? Okay. That sounds like something y'all may have forgotten. Let me go ahead and write it someplace important. Okay. So we use 2 boxes, the tall and skinny and the short and squatty. We use 2 boxes when A is not equal to 1. Okay. When A is equal to 1, we just use the box that looks like 1. Okay. Be a little refresher. Okay. So if A is equal to 1, your life is easy, right? Our life is not so easy right now, but that's okay. Does anybody need more time? So I'm going to basically pull up these values. I've got B on the bottom, A times C on top. This is what I'm multiplying to. This is what I'm adding. And I'm going to go ahead and fill in the box. B's on the bottom, negative 16. And 4 times 7 is 28. Good. Okay. So if I'm going to look for this in my calculator, y equals what over x?
28.
Okay, it's actually, if it's on the top of the box here, it's going to be on the top of your fraction right here, right? So 28, 28. This is going to tell us all the things that multiply to be 28. So I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to be lazy and just delete what's on top. And then I'm going to write 28, just like so. Step to the side, make sure it looks good. That's what I want, right? And we're going to go to second table. And I'm looking for two numbers that are going to add up to be negative. Well, all of these numbers look positive to me, right? So I'm going to go to where the negative numbers live. I got some negative. Negative 1 minus 28 is negative 29. It's too big. Negative 2 plus negative 14 is negative 16. Okay, so I am making some assumptions today that you are pretty strong with adding and subtracting. If that is something that you know you're weak in, I can show you some calculator techniques to help you with adding and subtracting, okay? So we have negative 2 and we have negative 14. So remember, we need both boxes, right? So we're going to go over here. First box first. Do you remember? First term. Now remember, we had factored out the negative 4, right? So we're focused here. So my first term is 4t squared, right? And the last box, last term, right? Plus 7 right there. And it doesn't matter which order, we're going to put in our negative 2t and our negative 14t right here. And then we're going to kind of play around and get some GCFs out of this, okay? So let's go ahead. Let's start off with, I don't know, this one looks easiest to me. 4t squared and negative 2t. What do they have in common? Let me ask Conrad. Do you know what these two have in common? What factor? What can I divide both of those numbers by?
2.
Yes. And as far as the t goes, do they both have a t in common?
Yes.
Yes. And we go with the smallest exponent, which is?
1.
2 and 1. So it's 1. Very good. Okay. So now if I have 2t to the first power here, and remember it's kind of like almost taking 4t squared and dividing it by 2t to the first power, right? So Javi, what's going to be right here, sir? 2t. I agree with you, right? 4 divided by 2 is 2. And t to the squared divided by t to the first, remember we subtract, right? 2 minus 1, so it's just 1, okay? So if I have 2t here, what's going to go up here? Jessica, let me know if you need a hint. I like negative 7, good. Negative 7 times 2 is negative 14. And do I need another t? I have, because if you look at it like this, negative 14t divided by 2t, so the t's cancel out, right? You don't need any more t's. And then you got negative 14 divided by 2, so that's just negative 7, right? Okay, good. Now, Michaela, what's going to go right here? If I've got negative 2t in the box and I got 2t up here.
Negative 1.
I like it. And negative 1 times negative 7 is positive 7, right? So ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and look at this. We've got equaling 0, 2t minus 1 times t minus 7. And when we solve, we set each factor equal to 0, right? This is just like that one lesson we did. So I've got one here. I've got 2t minus 1 is equal to 0. I got another one. 2t minus 7 is equal to 0. And I'm just going to add 1, get rid of that. Let me know if I'm going a little too fast. 0 plus 1 is just 1. And we divide by? What do we divide by? 2. Always the number in front of the coefficient, right? So ladies and gentlemen, we get t is equal to 1/2 there, right? We're going to do it again. Plus 7 plus 7. We have 2t. That zeroes out. Equals to 7. And divide by 2 and divide by 2. I have a second solution. where t is equal to 7/2. Okay, so two solutions. Go away, little thing. Now let's go ahead and reread the question. It says, how long was the rocket in flight? What do you think? And we said it was in units of seconds, right? What do you think the best answer is? Half a second or 3.5 seconds? Okay, he says 3.5. Why do you think? And why does it have 2 times? That's weird, right? Okay, our equation was at 30 feet, right? So look at this right here. Oh, I got an answer here. Nice. Sorry, hold on one second. Let me talk to somebody. Do we add them? Nope. So let me show you, okay? What happens is that you have this point in the sky that's exactly 30 feet, right? How many times is that rocket exactly 30 feet in the air? Twice. Once on the way up and once on the way down. At this point, this took half a second to get there, right? Is that the entire flight? No. It wasn't until we leave from here and land in the tree that we finally end. And at this point, this is 3.5 seconds. So the question is, how long was the rocket in flight? The rocket was in flight. Sorry, a little bit of cursor there. Flight, 3.5 seconds. Okay, so I hope that kind of explains why there was 2 answers, yes? And which one is a better answer? Because you'll find a lot of times that there are answers that are mathematically sound, however, they do not apply to the situation, and that's where you have to make those decisions. Okay. Any questions on that? All right, I do want to show you a couple of things. I'm having to consolidate some lessons because we are running up against the time with the star and everything like that. So if you would, in your journal, just go ahead and write down these problems on the side. I know I have like my stuff all posted, and then on the side I have room for me to like put some things in there. Okay. Yeah, grab paper. Okay. And anybody else who needs paper, there's some up there. All right. Let's look at number 1. Okay. By the way, strongly recommend journals as you go through high school and whatnot. Okay. The first thing we want to look at is there a GCF? Yes. What do you think the GCF is? 3. I agree. Let's divide by 3. Let's divide by 3 and divide by 3. So we end up with x squared minus 9 equals 0. Is this okay? Am I going too fast? Let's kind of get excited. So what I want to do is I want to show you, is this in standard form? Kind of, right? Kind of. I think it's as long as you have this term here with x to the second power, technically it's quadratic, right? But please just know that this is essentially the same as x squared plus 0x minus 9 equals 0. These two are the same, yes? And so when you're identifying A would be 1, B is 0, and C is -9. Does that kind of make sense? So this is how you're going to treat something when you're missing a term, okay? Just put a 0. Now, am I going to use 2 boxes or 1 box for this? 1, good, because A is equal to 1. So I'm going to draw this box magically all perfect because I'm just that talented. No. And I'm going to start putting some stuff in there, okay? So let's see. Quinte, what's going to go on the bottom, sir? Close. It's B on the bottom, B for bottom, and A times C on the top. So what do you think? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I said what you asked me.
It's okay. So go ahead and start paying attention. And then you got B. What number goes on the bottom is the question.
0.
And what number goes on the top? There you go. Okay. Now you could put this in the calculator, right? But I bet y'all could come up. What are two numbers that multiply to be -9 and cancel out? 3 and -3. 3 minus 3 is 0. -3 times 3, -9. Yes? Okay. So what we end up with here is we have, we only needed one box, so we can go straight to the factored form. X plus 3 times X minus 3. And that is equal to 0. Now to solve, we set each factor equal to 0. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and subtract the 3 from both sides. Doesn't the 9 need an X? Let me see. No, because it's just -27 divided by 3. Yeah, so it's just -9. And then here, this will zero out. And we have X is equal to -3. Okay. And then, of course, on this other side, Roman, what's my answer going to be for this one? What is X equal?
What was the question? Sorry, there's something in the background of my house.
What's X?
-3.
Close. This one's actually -3, but here when we add 3 and we add 3, we get?
Oh, 3. My fault.
Yeah. No problem. So we have two answers here, -3 and 3. And that's not really a 3. Shoot. Let's go here. Let me rewrite it. 3 and +3 as our two answers. Any questions? So I want to make sure I showed you what to do when we are missing a term. Does anybody need more time with this one? All right, let's go ahead and let's look at another one. Okay, so here I've got this. Let me clear it all out. We're solving for X. Is it in standard form? Yes. Okay. Do I have a GCF? No, because I can't divide 10 by 3 nice and even. Okay. So now we're just going to go ahead and solve this. And I think on this one, I'm going to let y'all do it. Okay. So go ahead. And if you're watching the video, go ahead and pause. Okay. So basically, we all had A was equal to 3, B was equal to 13, C is equal to -10, and we set up our little block, right? Now, there seems to be some confusion on how to actually put this in your calculator. So let's be aware. Number one, you have to hit Y equals, right? If you're in the regular screen, you hit Y equals to get there. I'm going to clear that out just so it's clear. Then you have alpha Y equals 1, okay? And then you're going to put in -30. Make sure it's the negative on the bottom, okay? And you're going to go down, and you're going to put X. X is located right next to alpha. You're going to go to the right and see like, does that look the way I want it to look? And then I hit second graph. And I'm looking for two numbers that add up to be 13. So 30 take away 1 is 29, too big. 5 take away 2 is, 15 take away 2 is 13. So yay, we have our winner, okay? And we have -2 and we have 15. Doesn't matter if you put the 15 on top, that's fine. We're going to draw another box because A is equal to 3, not 1, right? So I'm going to draw another box because I just love me some boxes. Okay. And make it look like this. And we're going to set it up. And pause and I'll make sure that we're able to set it up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, right here, first term, first box. What goes in this box right here? 3x squared. Okay, it should be more than one person, right? We got that first term, right? First box. Last term, last box, right? And these two middle ones go in here, -2x and +15x. The middle boxes go in the middle right here, right? So we're going to play the GCF game, right? And basically what that states is that I'm going to go ahead, you can start anywhere. I will tell you, I avoid having negatives right here. So I'm gonna tend to like, if I see a negative, I probably want to pull it out like maybe on the bottom right here, okay? So what do you think? If I have negative what? What else do they have in common? They have a negative in common. They also have a, what can I divide both 2 and 10 by? 2. Do they both have an x? No, so it's just negative 2. So if I have a negative 2 here, that means I'm going to have a 1x. Good. All right. If I have negative 2 here, and I have a 10 here, that means that positive 5. Positive 5 times what gives me positive 15? 3. And then also you said what else, ma'am? X, I like it. And 3 times 1 is 3. X times X is X squared. So I end up with an answer that kind of looks like this. X plus 5 times 3x minus 2. Now I want to post something to you, okay? I really liked this. This person got negative 1x, oops, plus, let me write this out. Okay, minus 5. They got all of that, and then they got this negative 3x plus 2, okay? So it's kind of like all the same numbers. Can you pass that all the way down to her? Okay. And, but I will tell you, it's, you're probably gonna see this on a test, and let me kind of show you why. If I were to take out a negative here, right? If I was to factor out and divide by negative 1, I would get negative 1 times x plus 5. Can y'all see that? Okay. And if I divide this by negative 1, I would end up with negative 1 times 3x minus 2. Do y'all see that? And so I can rearrange all of these things because it doesn't matter what order we multiply things in. And I can actually pull the 2 negative ones up front and get my x plus 5 and my 3x minus 2. And we all know that negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. And so essentially it ends up being the same exact thing. So please don't get discouraged. You're on a test and you ended up with something like this and it looks right, but all your signs are completely different. You probably got it. Try factoring out a negative 1. Okay. Any questions on that? All right. So I think we're going to go ahead and take a break here and y'all have a great day. All right. So